You are now listening to the Noah podcast. I'm your host, Chukudi. And with me is my co-host,
Chidi.
Alright, so we have a couple of Bible-believing baddies with us today.
Period.
Welcome, Ebube and Kenke.
Hello.
Could you introduce yourself to the audience, let them know what you're about outside of God?
Where does it have to be outside?
I've told them you're into God now.
I think I'll introduce myself as a triple B, like a Bible believing baddie. But let's hinge on the baddie parts.
That's your thing,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Get
It's
to
one
know.
of the things we came back from Buhari with.
Okay.
Actually, get to know.
Like as a triple B. Anyway, on the last part of the B, I'm waiting for law school to start. But other than that, I have a business. But that's in the works. So what next coming to you guys?
You also used to run a pod, didn't you?
Yes, and I was actually saving that for this. I was going to say that, do you know that I've been podcasting since 2018. I'm on a hiatus right now. And this is the first time that I've been on another person's podcast.
Really?
And I'm Ibube, also a legal intern. I just finished my internship. And I'm also waiting for law school. And while I wait for law school, I do a bit of everything on the side. I do a bit of writing. I do a bit of I own a business as well.
Shout out Baybody. Shout out
So I have a
Baybody.
card game business. Check it out, Baybody Games. I do a bit of social media, just a bit of everything.
Do you know what I was remembering? Yesterday when we were on the phone and you're like, oh, you have to come and see me to record today. You were so frustrated, like.
Bro, I feel like this week has been so hectic, bro. Lots of things have been happening, but we're here now. I feel like podcast, this is like how many months now?
We started in July,
Yeah.
so this is
5 months.
5 months.
No,
four.
4.
Quick maths.
Yeah.
It feels like a year, man.
It feels it's
like
been
a
a journey.
year,
It's been a while.
I think it's because you guys are consistent with it.
Yeah, we're
I think
actually
you guys are
consistent,
going on
bro.
with it.
Like, it's crazy.
But shout out to you guys for being consistent though, because getting up every day doing it just because, yeah.
I have to talk to Chukudi every day.
Yeah,
Nigga is
nah,
crazy.
for real. But I hear that as well, because obviously, like, Chidi is one of my longest friends, so.
Pause.
What are we pausing there for?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It
But
was just out
yeah,
there.
so because of that, like, there's that rapport. there's that rapport, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like there are times where maybe, for example, last month I was doing an internship. So there are times where I just get back from work. Literally, I've been in traffic for how long? And literally, I haven't even like fully rested in my bed. I'm getting a phone call from Chidi. I'm like, God, why? Well, as it's ups, mostly ups. Like it's cool as well. I feel like I can't imagine doing it by myself. Like it's nice to have like a partner
like
in this.
energy.
If
But
that's
doing it by yourself, like, how was that? Like,
That's an
Don't be shy.
interesting. It was, okay, so when I first started podcasting, right, okay, it was a podcast about like virtually anything. So I would just like have people on to talk about like different things that they were into, right? But like, I feel like at the beginning it was very simple. If you have a guest, like I made sure like every week I had somebody that I was talking to, even if we were talking about the most random things.
okay.
But then when I like made my podcast like a more Christian podcast, I think it became exceedingly more difficult because sometimes it's not as easy to find people to record on that topic with like as regularly. So I can't lie, at some point I would just I actually kind of used to record podcasts very spontaneously, and I'll record like a bunch and then I'll just start releasing them small by small, so that while I'm in the energy of like recording, I'll say, oh my God, like Jesus loves you, you guys just stick with it and like say what I need to say, and then compile like maybe like 5 episodes and then start putting them out slowly. I feel like they're even like 10 on my phone
Really?
just there
Just there.
because I'm on a hiatus right now. Yeah,
Okay.
fair enough. How long have you been on a hiatus for?
that's a great question. Yeah, maybe 2 years now, but I
Wow.
want to come back.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. 2024.
Doing
That's
law
when
school.
it's, yes.
Fair enough.
That's why I said record many and then dish them out.
Just be dropping. Then I'm like, how a multifaceted babe in law school doing podcast. Wow.
Meg. Okay.
Fair enough. But like you touched on the Christian thing. I feel like it's about to be a very interesting episode because
Yeah.
I feel like
A very diverse group of people.
I feel like we're very diverse. I feel like, but I want to ask you guys first, like your Christian journey. How did it start? Like, where are you guys now? And like, are you guys enjoying this kind of thing?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, my Christian journey. Obviously, I grew up like typical African story. I grew up in a Christian household. We went to church every Sunday. And when I say every Sunday, every bloody Sunday. I remember there was a time we moved, and like we moved on a Saturday. We didn't go to church the next Sunday, but we did it online. So in my household, you see, church is not a conversation. It's not, oh, are we going? It is the question of when, like what time are you going for first service or second service? But like church is guaranteed. So I used to go because like I just didn't want anybody shout at me. When I got to uni, my mom, so like when my mom dropped me off at uni, she dropped me off and then she made sure she had a day in Sunday or Sunday in Leeds. So when she now got there, she now handed me to the pastor and said, "This is your daughter." She now, when I go back to Nigeria, when I go back to her, she said, if I hear that you stop going to church, you will come back to Nigeria. And I know my mom doesn't care about what people think or like how people will perceive it. In fact, they said I would not have the money again. She would say, yes, it's true. I should bring you back to Nigeria. So I was just like, okay, cool, we'll be going to church. So I went for a bit. After time I left that church, I was just like, yeah, this is not on. And like, on and off here and there. But like, I think the first time like I really, really had an encounter with God, I had just eaten a very heavy breakfast. Like, it was like a talking stage that had gone very, 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 very wrong.
You guys knew I thought she was talking about
Do you know for the longest, I thought like she was talking about food. I spent like
like she ate food.
Guy, what food English?
That actually is like I thought she got like she had just finished chowing her in the kitchen.
The sausage, that's what I was
Nope.
thinking just now. Oh.
Guy, they had done me severely dirty. As I just looked at myself, I was just like, is this you? And then like, till today, I still look at the nigga, I'm just like, this kind of person did me like this.
Wow.
So
This kind of person sounds crazy. How do you call this kind of person?
Clarification of the word. So
And she's not joking. She didn't stutter.
Really?
this kind of person.
Yeah.
So I remember that one of my friends from uni back then, shout out Moyo. Yeah. Anyway, so shout out Moyo. So I remember she plugged me. She was just like, oh my God, I told her about it. She's just like, She now heard me. She now heard everything I had to say. And that was the first time, like, I experienced a non-judgmental Christian. And it was just like, wow, okay. So there are different facets to these kinds of people. So I remember we spoke about it for a while. Then like she joined, then she added me to this prayer call. And I remember I was just like, I want this prayer call that they'll come here and be praying. People will not be there for 1 hour. I wasn't really like into it. I remember one day I was just on the call, just casually joined. And like what it is that I was going through at the time, she just mentioned it word for word, bar for bar, precept for precept. And I was just there like raw. Like I felt cold chills. I was just in my kitchen. I was just like raw. I just started crying. I was just like, what is this? And needless to say, I continued with the prayers until like the end of that month. And then like, slowly but surely, found my way to God. And obviously the Christian journey has not been a linear one. It's one with ups and downs. There's sometimes that you just don't even feel like, and sometimes I'm just like, God, please just day your day, let me do my day. And there's sometimes like we're just guys. But like I think that was it. Like it took a man serving me breakfast to, it took a man like, doing me very, very dirty to get me to the point where I was just like, yeah.
Do you know what's crazy?
I have so many jokes. But like,
do you know what's actually crazy? Like there are a lot of babes I know that like they turn to God after a man has failed them.
do you know we're doing the Lord's work? Deep is here. Because it's like,
Jesus.
if we get that breakfast,
You wouldn't have gone to God.
think about it. If
Think
you
about
deep
it like that.
That's
in
so
a way.
interesting.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Like, no,
If that kind of man
shout out to all-
didn't give you...
please.
Okay, what about you? Like, your journey? Like, how's it been?
I think my story is a bit different in the sense that for me, like, yeah, likewise, I grew up in like a Christian home, but like I feel like for me, it was very different in the sense that I feel like growing up, we weren't like, oh my God, these intense Christians, like also into the Christianity, like type of thing. In the sense that like there were times when on Sunday I wake up, my dad had just gotten back from a night out, so he's not going to church. So like he's chilling. If he's not going to church, the rest of us are just like, let's just chill. Who's watching church online? But it didn't take away from the fact that we were like Christian or like we believed in God or we believed in Jesus. And okay, maybe more so my mom, she was now, I think that she started obviously the Christianity journey. She wasn't old, but like a bit later, like maybe like post 20s ish, she started really, getting into it. So I think that growing up, I didn't have a strong kind of like tie to church per se, like, okay, I need to be in church. But I went to a Christian secondary school.
Okay.
God. It was a very deep sigh for me.
That sigh was heavy, sir.
Don't worry, we'll talk about our own stories as well.
No, okay, what type of, was it like Catholic?
Catholic, yeah.
Okay. My school was not Catholic.
Really?
It wasn't. But God, I beg. We will pray in the morning before we go to school. We will pray on assembly in school. We will pray at 12. When school is done, at night, you will still pray. On Saturday, you will still have fellowship. On Sunday, you still go to church. From year 8, I was going to church from about 8 o'clock in the morning. And I wasn't coming back till like 2, 3 p.m. from church.
Preaching. Are you joking?
We'll go for the 2 services.
Do you know what's crazy? A lot of people, because you went to boarding school, didn't you? A lot of people that I know went to boarding school. That's their story.
Like a lot of these, and I feel like for a long time, I just kind of resented the whole thing. I think when I first got to Life Force, I just casted.
Shout out Life Force.
Shout out LF. But when I first got to Life Force, I remember there was this whole wave of like, oh my God, this is like a spiritual school. Like spiritual things were happening. I won't get into them now. We'll still get into them. But like there were spiritual things that was happening. And like I knew that people wanted to be kind of on the wavelength of like knowing God because like it was like the right thing to do in that setting.
Yes.
But I feel like after year 7, it kind of just wore off and everybody was just like vibing and chilling. So it was just like, okay, we're in a secondary school that is really religious. And I use the word religious very like intently. Okay. It was a very religious school. I don't take away from that. And what I mean by religious, I mean like there's a difference between religious and being
a Christian
and being in a relationship with Christ. That's what I mean. So it was a very religious place. But I think when it really started for me, it was when I was 16. And I had just finished my first set of exams. So I just finished OCNOV 2015. And in
context, she's talking about IGCSE.
Yeah, IGCSE. Well, in level, we were GCEO level. I don't know where people when I tell people that we didn't write IGCSE.
What did you guys write?
GCEO level. It was still a Cambridge exam, but it was not IGCSE.
Is it Cambridge? Like,
it's Cambridge. It's 2 set of leaving exams. I don't know why. But like, I remember when that happened, I was a science student. I did all the sciences, physics, chemistry, further math, the whole work. And then I remember coming home and my uncle was just talking to me and he was just like, yeah, I don't think you should do this. It was such a random conversation. But I remember going back to school that January and I felt like really enlightened and I was doing like literature and sociology and I felt like, wow, like my brain is so open now and I'm giving it all. So what happened was I started reading my Bible the same way I was approaching literature, in the sense that I wanted to know what the text was saying and I wanted to know what it was saying to me at that specific point in time. So I remember I had asked my roommates, because she was reading Bible, she was really into it. And I asked her, okay, how do I start reading the Bible? Like, where do I start from? And she was just like, just start from the stories. She told me, start from like 1 Samuel, like read the story parts of the Bible. Don't get into the whole, like, what's it called again? Like, the New Testament where they're giving you principles. She was just like, just start from where they're basically just telling you a story. So I was reading like Ruth, 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel. And I was doing it like they were doing literature. And I said, wow, see the scripture here, see the simile here. And I felt like, I was able to connect because I was approaching it in a whole different way. And from approaching it that way, I felt like, I'm really connecting to what I'm reading because I'm not just reading for the sake of I want people to know that I've read my Bible, but I'm reading my Bible to understand what exactly it is saying. And I feel like the foundation of my own Christian journey has literally just been the Bible, reading it and trying to understand what is being said to me. And like Amy said, it's been a series of like ups and downs, like, oh, yeah, sometimes you're really on fire. Sometimes it doesn't seem like the passion is there that much. Sometimes it seems like, oh, God is so close. Then sometimes it doesn't seem like he's that close. But yeah, I think that would be like the foundation of everything.
What about you? What's your own story?
Actually, not crazy, like similar to you guys. Christian household. We went to church like every Sunday. Like we never missed church. It was crazy because there's one time we came back from America, Saturday. Niggas are jet lagged. Church Sunday. I'm like, bro, can't niggas sleep? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I was tired.
Yeah, for context, Chidi's mom is part of the choir in his own church.
Bro, choir. Like, she goes to church, Saturday, Sunday. She's at church from like 8 a.m. to like 1 p.m. Like, anyway, to each their own. So, like, for the whole time, I'm just there, like, why am I, like, it reached when I was like 13, 14, I'm like, why am I here? And like, I realized, like, because my church was like, no sex, like, sex before marriage is crazy, blah, blah, blah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You said it's wrong.
When, like, the same thing to me. Then they were not like, oh, if you lie, you go to hell. If you do this, you go to hell. I'm like, bro, it used to affect me, bro. Because when I go to school and I lie, I'm like, bro, I'm not going to hell. Like, bro, I should be so scared.
yeah.
And like, for the whole week, I'm like, man, I can't wait to go to church so I can like confess my sins. I'm Anglican, by the way, I'm not Catholic. I used to be so scared. And there used to be like these Sundays where they'll talk about like revelations and like rapture. And they'll talk about end times. I'm like, man, fuck. Like, I can't even swear because if I swear, I won't go to heaven when I'm called. So it wasn't until I got to uni. My mom kind of did the same thing. Like, we go to church. She go to church for me. And I'm like, okay, I'll go. Cool. She left. I didn't go once. Like, I feel like for the first time I was free to like actually be myself.
Like be yourself, yeah.
And like, I now realized like, I did not have a relationship with God. I was just going to church because my mom made me go to church. Even till now, like, I go to church, but like, slowly I'm like reducing it because I do not like going to church. Church is not my thing. When I go to church, I'm on my phone most of the time. I feel like it was bondage for me because like I was really sad most of the time. Anytime I did anything bad, I was like, fuck. I was so hard on myself. I'm like, why? Like, because I'm going to hell, quote unquote. So yeah, that's really been my journey. Like, what about you?
I'm Catholic, right? But growing up, because like my mom's Anglican, my dad's Catholic. So growing up, my dad wasn't really at home as much. So because of that, like we had these family friends that were like Pentecostal. So we used to go to their church, mainly based on the fact that like, oh, you know, I get to see my friends, you know, play with them, all of that. And like, but guy, back then I lived in Ajah, and like the church was like in the mainland. Like,
sorry?
What?
So guy,
Pardon?
Guy, so Sunday, we like church is maybe like, let's say like 10. Wake up by like 8 and start driving to the mainland based on that now. Well, like, at first, it was calm because like I didn't really mind it much because like I really just liked spending time with my friends, and like they used to give us like snacks at church. Like they used to give us like cream crackers. Like I was, in my head, like as we were spending like time on 10 million, that's all that was in my head, those cream crackers. But like that used to be this pure. When my dad was around, like he would now take us to the Catholic church, like in Ikoyi, Falomo. And I remember I hated it, man. Like I was just like, guy, this is so raz. Like, and I think like it used to be a peeve because I think my dad wanted us raised Catholic, right? But like it was, my mom never explicitly said it, but it was kind of the MPs of like when my dad was around, don't mention like that you're going to church on the mainland. Don't even suggest it is not happening. But to be fair, after church, like my dad used to take me to like Chicken Republic, like in Ikoyi.
Kind of like those after church chows.
Come on.
There was one time like that he switched up with me, and like because we're driving, and at that point it was an expectation every Sunday when he was around we'll go to Chicken Republic. You know, past Chicken Republic, I was like, hello.
What's going on?
I don't know, maybe it was in a bad mood that day, but he just told me to be quiet, and then I found myself back home.
It's a Sunday rice.
Yeah. So yeah. Then, so this was like before I entered secondary school. The secondary school, my school was Catholic, right? So I would say that was like my first, what's the word, conscious like introduction to like the whole Catholicism thing. Like even though like when I was younger, like I knew what a Catholic church was, but I didn't know what I guess Catholicism was about. I was just there, to sing the hymns and get my chicken at the end of the day. I remember like I was just like, okay, like this seems cool. I think what made it interesting was like the very first mass, I saw niggas go and collect communion and I was like, rah. Like, what qualifies me to do this too?
Yeah, communion guys used to be like coolest.
Yeah. During mass, you will see guys like.
So interesting.
No, okay, so I also went to a Catholic school. I always thought that like they were these exclusive people.
Yes.
Like they will now stand, they will now hold, they will not be holding. Like I was just like, they are so close. I just thought they were so cool.
But for context as well, you're like 10, 11.
Yeah, 10, 11, yeah.
No, because me in my own church, everybody collect communion.
No,
Oh, yeah, okay.
everybody-
No, I get that. But like, I don't know, man. There's something like.
It just seemed so like they seem so like heaven ready. And I was just like, I also want to go to heaven
They look so innocent.
Yeah. So I
Do not
Like,
like
angels always come and
my
carry
mom
these ones.
was always like they don't do like this. So me one day I don't follow them.
In fact, yeah, I used to think Catholic niggas were the holiest guys ever.
Same for real. Same.
For real.
Same.
Like one time when my Catholic friend swore at me, I'm like, you're swearing? Like, yes. Like, he told me so I was like, jump scared, like, are you okay?
God.
So after that penal happened now, because I went home and I was like, Mom, am I Catholic? I said, yeah. I was like, oh. So I started taking like an interest in Catholicism. So I would say like secondary school, like I started to fully embrace the Catholic P. Now, here is where it gets crazy. Like Chidi said, at 13, 14, your mind starts to open up and you start questioning things and whatever. And lo and behold, it was around that time they decided to now make me chapel prefect.
Okay.
So I went from not knowing I was Catholic to basically being the head of the Catholic community of the school.
Yeah.
And let's just say like that position and my person didn't really at that time.
Coincide.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like crazy because like once I got the badge and everything, like I used to swear normally. I'll go and swear. They're like, Catholic, chapel prefect, swear, chapel prefect. Like it became so annoying. Like, and like there'll be this thing where like you have confession with the priest, right? Then let's say you're now at mass or whatever doing homily. The priest is all but saying your confession to the whole crowd, like, but he's not mentioning your name. It's like those of you that like stealing from your kid. Not saying I was stealing, but let's just use that.
Like an example, yeah.
Guy, I was like, bro, I told you that in confidence, my guy. So like, based on that, like, it was just like, So after that,
Sorry, what's a hominy?
so like in the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
You have like the readings. Then after you have the readings, the bits where the priest is like basically like teaching you what to learn from the readings. That's the homily.
Okay.
Like an exaltation.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part like the preaching.
Yeah, precisely.
So when I eventually entered uni, like first year, I was like still going. They used to give us pizza in church, so like that was it. But like I was
It's something about white church.
Yeah, white churches. They would give pizza or sandwiches or something.
But like it was cool. Like I used to like round up my friends and say let's go. Then I remember it was second year. So the very second year was when COVID happened.
Yeah.
But the very last time I went to church, right, before COVID hit, it was the day Kobe died. Like literally, I went to church. I came. You remember that day? I came. Chidi and I and like the rest of our friends were in the room. Literally, like within 20 minutes, someone just went, Kobe Bryant is dead. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, damn. Then I didn't go to church after that, and like COVID happened. And yeah, I didn't even know online church was a thing till like COVID, let's say, started like March. I didn't know online church was a thing till like September. Like I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Cool. Then for a couple of years, let's say like 2020, 2021, I don't think I went to church once. Then 2022, I was like, oh, let me try the church thing again. I felt rejuvenated by the Spirit. So I was going. Then let's say like I'd gone for like maybe like almost 2 months, like straight. I was like, rah, this religion thing is fresh, like, know. Then my friend died. And like, I remember because she was like sick before. So I went to church before that and I prayed and I was like, oh, God, please heal my friend, all of that, da 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 da. And then literally like, I think it was like within a week of that happening, she just died. Yeah. I was like, damn.
She rests well.
So when that happened, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I just like left it. So since then, like my church experience or my religious experience, like I believe in God and I believe like he is all powerful and everything like that. But I feel like, what's the word? What we are, I guess, taught to think about him isn't necessarily what I necessarily feel as well. Okay. And I also like, because I look at things like reflectively as well. So like I look at the Bible and then look at like certain stories. Like, can we actually take a moment to like deep that? The devil said, Job is not your boy, and God said, I bet. Like, let's actually like deep that. Like, it's just like, oh, like, how do I put it? Interesting. Let me put it like that. So I think, I'll stop there.
Okay. I was just going to say that I think that from listening to everybody's like perspective, because like now everybody is even saying that, oh my God, when they go to uni, that their parents even handed them to it. My mommy just said, peace be unto you. And she waved goodbye. My father was even there too. He just said, goodbye, take care of yourself. And I think that when I got to uni, that, like you said, that's the most free I've ever been. I did my A-levels in the same secondary school, so I had the same routine. And when I got to uni, I just realized that like this is not as bad as it's going to sound, but I really wouldn't leave my room like during the weekends, like from Friday to the next Monday.
No, real.
I would just be vibing, chilling. I wasn't going to church. Like it didn't really send me like that. But I think that from listening to everybody's story, like I found that sincerely we're all kind of taught very different things about Christianity and about scriptures. I think even one of my biggest questions and one of my biggest problems with Christianity, even being a Christian, I want to say being like one of my biggest problems with Christianity, I'm talking more so about the religion and less about being a follower of Jesus Christ, is that there are different versions of Christianity.
No cap.
Do you understand? I've always had those questions like, okay, why did one branch out of the other? One believes that this is this, one believes that that is that. I've always wondered why there are so many conflicting theories within the same, we're all following Jesus Christ here. Do you get what I mean? And I think that even with what you're saying, one thing to note is that Christianity looks so different for everybody. Like, I think that the problem that Christians generally have is that one Christian is trying to impose their own personal Christian beliefs on another person when you cannot necessarily do that. Like, I was reading the Bible and I was reading the Samaritan woman that met Jesus at the well. And she met Jesus and Jesus told her, oh, you have 5 husbands, or you're with somebody who isn't your husband right now. And she was just like, oh my God, how do you know all these things about me? And I realized that she was changed, not because of what another person had told her about Christ, but she was changed because of her own personal interaction with Christ. It was her own personal interaction with Christ that changed her, that made her go and be like, oh my God, guys, there's this man that just told me all about me. And even in the scripture, they said it like, we don't believe because of what you just said, but we believe because we have now seen it for ourselves. And I think that a way that Christians tend to limit their own view is by limiting their own view to what somebody else has said. Do you understand? Like, I feel like one of the many reasons why I was able to connect with God was because as much as life thought you will go to church every time, blah, 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 blah. Okay, there were some times that in church, I'm sleeping. I don't want to listen to the message. I don't want to do that. And prefects, they'll tell you stand up if you're sleeping. I remember when I became a prefect, I would tell them, guy, now sleep slightly now. Don't let them come and now meet us and say that you're sleeping. But I realized that it was not until I faced the scriptures myself to look at them and be like, okay, what is this P actually saying? And what is it saying to me personally? Because you guys, bear with me. I will bring out a scripture.
Yeah, do you, girl?
Do you understand? I'm going to bring out a scripture for somewhere. But there's a scripture that says that the spirit, the letter killeth, but the spirit gives life. Like, if you look at the letter for what the letter is only, you would I say choked up? Because it now seems like a bunch of rules and regulations that one must follow. And like they said to you, don't lie, or if you lie, you're going to hell. Or don't steal, if you steal, you go to hell. Or don't do this, if you do this, you're going to go to this particular place. Or they tell you, okay, Christianity is about not doing this and not doing that and not doing this and not doing that. When it's so much more than that, and it's so much more of a welcoming relationship than it is a condemning one. And I feel like a lot of people have missed out on that because of what somebody taught them a long time ago that they can't seem to personally shake internally because it's something that is ingrained in their mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Question from what you've said, yeah.
Chukudi had these freaking questions.
Question.
You guys, Chukudi used to do this thing a lot in law school. We'll just be gisting about Christianity things.
Question.
Okay, to that point that you said, questions.
Okay, you say, okay, I have a
I
question.
have a question to that.
Wait. My question is, do you feel currently in this, I guess, climate from what you've said, religion is limiting Christianity?
What a fabulous question.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you for that question, sir. You know me, I love to be challenged. I think that Christianity is a relationship. It is a relationship. It always has been a relationship, and it always will be about a relationship. Not just a relationship with God, a relationship with Christ, a relationship with the Holy Spirit, a relationship with other believers, a relationship with, your fellow people. It's about relationship and how we do relationship, right? I think that when you think about religion, I did sociology at A-level, and I studied religion as well, like part of the curriculum. And there's a way that religion is set up. Karl Marx said that religion is the opium of the masses, meaning that it is, for the masses, it's just something to appease them in their current suffering. Religion is like a set, it's
a code of conduct.
It's a code of conduct type of thing. And the thing is that whilst I believe that in Christianity there are things that you should be doing and should not be doing, or there are things that are wrong, I believe that you would gradually get into that place of a deep knowing that it is wrong because it is flowing out of a relationship that you have with Jesus Christ. Do you get? Think about it this way. You're dating a babe, all right? Just bear with me. You're dating a babe and you like her. She's beautiful. She's nice. She's everything you have dreamed of. But you have some bad habits from being a single person for a certain period of time. Maybe you're not used to checking up on her. Like, it's not your style. After a while, the babe will too just be like, you're not serious. And you will know from the interaction with her, from a deep knowing, after dating her for a while, like, you actually really like this babe, or you love her, you want to be with her. You will know that I need to check up on this babe. Do you understand? Let me just, hey baby, how are you? You okay? You have to give her a light morning message. You have to tell her, if she sends you a picture, oh my God, baby, you look nice. You look so good. But you can't now bring your old habits into that kind of relationship and expect that relationship to work. Do you get? So
I hope you're hearing Chidi.
Sorry, why are they calling you, sir?
I feel like you finished with it. I'll see my story.
So yeah, I think that typically, it's the same thing with friendships. There's some friends, you tell them, guy, I can't be telling you, you can't, there's some people that you're friends with them, they will offend you the exact same way over and over again. You cannot expect that relationship to sustain. Even if I love my friend, do you understand? After a while, me too, I'll say, okay, you two, you're not willing to change your ways to be in relationship with me. Same with me. I have to be able to, or I have to be willing to drop some habits that I have to be in good relationship with my friends. I have a friend she says I'm notorious for disappearing when my life goes difficult, which is very true. But I'm trying to learn to not do that to her because I'm trying to maintain my friendship with her.
Makes sense.
So I see Christianity like that, but obviously on a much deeper level. But on the surface of things is that I'm in relationship with Jesus Christ. And there are some things that obviously he would like for me to do. But because I love him so much. I love Jesus. Like I'm trying to be in this relationship with you and I'm trying to do well. I know that there are some things I have to leave behind so I can effectively be in relationship with him. Do you get? Yeah.
I have a question for all of you. Just something like just side note.
Yeah.
Would you rather someone offend you 100 different ways one time, or the same way 100 times?
100 different ways.
The same way, Carla. Because I feel like the same way. Because like if you're doing different things, I mean, you're predictable, bro. Like I feel like you can do different shit every time. But I feel like human beings, I feel like you can change to a certain degree. And like it reaches a point where like now, I've known Chukudi for a while now. The things that Chukudi does now that I know is Chukudi, like
what, bro?
Things,
nigga. Like the things he does, like I'm like, it's Chukudi, man. Like this is who he is.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, because he's going to do that same thing again tomorrow. But if I'm talking to someone that is like today, like he does something new every fucking time, I'm like you guys, I won't know who you actually are.
Bro,
but like
you become scary.
Yeah,
like,
you're a scary guy, jiggers.
I don't agree. Because I think about it from this way. Human beings were evolving beings. So if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, what does it say about your evolution? You're not changing. You're not growing as a person. Okay, let's give an example. Kenke is my friend. And I say, Kenke, I like when, like, we have monthly check-ins. And, like, I like communication. And every time, like, I reach out for that communication, you always block it. And you say you want to maintain said friendship. You can't maintain that friendship. And quite frankly, it shows that you're not ready to evolve or grow into that, like, that space or that, like, that friendship or what it entails. So for me, doing the same thing over and over again, and even scientists, I can't remember which one said it, that is insanity. So if you continuously do, it shows that you're not growing as a person, and also you are insane. So
But I feel like I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I feel like in every relationship you have things you can compromise on and things that are deal breakers for you. I feel like if communication is your thing and that person isn't communicating, then cut them off. Like, but like Chukudi can do something now. Like I've accepted him as my friend.
Say the thing that he does. Say the thing that he
No,
does.
I'm
They're trying to get you snitch on me on camera.
But like I've accepted him as who he is.
Yeah.
And like if he does those things, I cannot be like complaining every time like Chukudi, you're doing the same fucking thing. But this is who Chukudi is. Like, you get what I'm saying? Okay, like how you said Chukudi always asks questions.
My name is being
Chukudi is
mentioned
always going
so
to
much.
ask, nigga, relax. As in, like,
And should we change it?
so he's going to ask those questions every time. That's who Chukudi is. He's an inquisitive person. But there are niggas that don't like inquisitive people. So why are you going to be friends with Chukudi? That's my question. You get what
I
I'm saying?
think for me, I'm going to give you guys a very diplomatic answer. My problem. I think like, it depends on the friend. There's some friends that I would actually tolerate the same thing over and over and over again because I know that, like you said, it's just your person
Personality,
type, which does not discredit maybe other parts of you that may be evolving. But like she said, there's some friends that I'd rather have you do 1.2 billion things different times because it shows that, okay, maybe you're changing, but there are some hiccups on the way that make you to another setting. Do you get? So it depends on the friend. There are some friends, like now my younger sister is my friend. There are some things that Tuke does that she does again and again and again. And I'm just like, I understand. Because I can see the change in other areas of your life. Like if this is going to be the thorn in your flesh, I get it.
Cool.
But there are some people that I'm like, come on now. Switch it up. Let's have a different offense today. Do you get what I mean? Don't offend me, please. But you get what I mean?
Nah, I feel like for me, I feel like I would deal better with one thing 100 times than 100 different things because in my mind I'll start thinking what next are you going to do.
Keep showing your toes.
I don't like being on my toes. Like it's just like, okay, let's say I'd rather, okay, I have a friend now, for example, let's say something like maybe every year he doesn't message me on my birthday and puts it like that.
That's not your friend.
That's not great. Do you get what I mean?
That's not your friend.
But I'd rather that than, okay, let's
should
say,
respect
and
it.
obviously I would cut off after the first instance, but let's say a friend that has stolen from me, tried to get with my girlfriend, fought with me outside. Do you get what I mean? A new thing
okay.
each and every single time.
Okay, the thing is that maybe we're thinking about
Two different things.
because you guys are thinking about very, very drastic offenses. Like, sorry, if a babe, she steals from me,
Every time she
then
talks to my
take
man.
birthday,
No,
and
but
then
like-
she now does not wish me happy. Now she hates me.
No,
She
but
wants
like,
to die.
because if it's 100 things one
Yeah.
time, some of those things are going to be big things. Like, obviously, I mentioned like 4 drastic things. There will also be
Yeah.
little things in there, like whatever. But at some point, within those 100 times, a couple of drastic things are going to happen. So, like, it's them. So, for example, now, if someone steals from you once, and let's say God himself tells you it will never happen again, that's cool. But, like, the damage is already done. Do you get what I mean? As opposed to if someone has one issue that they do 100 times, I know for a fact this is who you are. Now, the question is, okay, can I deal with this? As opposed, so I can, if let's say you're someone with a very foul mouth, like when you get angry, like you become very abusive. I know for a fact, okay, anytime you're upset, it's now a choice of do I want to be around this, you
Or
get what I
not,
mean,
yeah.
or not. And I can also start thinking of how to deal with it in said instance. But let's say one time you're abusive, another time you're violent, another time you're dismissive, another time like I don't know so I can't even really know how to deal with you because it's going to be something new every time.
I get what you mean. And I think
enough.
that's why I said there are some people that I would definitely say 100 different things once I can handle from a specific type of person or from a certain type of friend. There are some situations where 100 different offenses will be better than one singular offense because, like you said, one singular offense, you just shall know that, okay, this is the way this person is. And there are some of my friends that have accepted to be just like that, that this one offense, she will commit it. And I have to be able to deal with that. But there are some people too, that one sort of offense seems like a piss take. Because when they are now committing it again and again and again, you're like, actually, do you know
Maybe you actually stop.
Maybe you don't even have any, like, reasoning about how this thing is affecting me, because if you do something bad, right, and you do it again and again and again and again and again, and you're not even trying to stop, or you're not even taking into cognizance that, like, how is this thing affecting me? Because, like you said, okay, the damage is already done from one thing. But imagine, like, a nail on the wall, and one person keeps using hammer to hit it. That hole is just going to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, which is why for some people, maybe the nail is not that sharp. Well, for some other people, the nail is
very sharp.
is heavily sharp. So I think it's different for different people. I think you just have to know as a human being how to navigate different people.
I can't lie, I changed my answer to Kenke's answer.
You guys, I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Because obviously, I've obviously been thinking about like this podcasting session and stuff. So I want to ask you guys all, what are your own problems with the way people do Christianity?
This is my bag, man.
Go for it, bro.
This is my Birkin bag. I feel like you guys should start first.
No, you have to start.
I think you should start because you have a lot.
Yes.
Is hate the right word?
You can use any
use
word.
I
any
hate
word.
Christians, man.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
It's so crazy. It's hate the right
I
one.
thought you were about to say that. I thought you were about to say that.
Basic personality.
Church or something.
man.
She said no.
That's so crazy.
Guys,
Let me
you started right.
Let
It's
me give
okay.
you guys a story. In law school, actually, it happened. I don't know if you guys heard the story 2 weeks ago. So in law school, how law school is, how Lagos campus is, they're very strict. So this babe and this babe, they were like sharing a room. So this babe and a guy, they used to fuck in the room
Oh, I
normally.
heard this story.
You heard the story. They used to class in the room normally. Then the other babe that was her roommates was getting uncomfortable with the situation. What a normal human being does in that situation is talk to the babe. Or even if you reach the point where the babe is not listening, you can do other things.
Yeah.
Like what? Like what?
I feel like you can even like talk to the guy. You can just do other things. You can talk to somebody, but you don't go to the school and report these two people.
She did what?
Retorted
When I heard it, I even said, Mama, slow down.
When she reported to the school.
Yeah, and those guys are banned for 15 years from writing.
Based on sex.
Based on the kid also.
And she did it because it was against her faith. Apparently.
Oh, wow.
So
I think it's something a simple conversation could have solved.
nigga, that's what I'm saying.
I think
Like,
it's a simple
the
conversation.
reason why that's why I use the word hate is because the self-righteousness kills me.
I don't think you hate Christians. I think you hate, like, what's the word, self-righteous people.
And what's that? Okay, sorry.
Christians are not
bad.
self-righteous.
But like, think about it,
let
like,
me
you know
just
them
exam
niggas,
myself.
you know them
I
niggas
need
like
to.
back in secondary, right? That would remind the teacher about homework or like go and snitch you based on you were making noise. Like, religion aside, like, those are not Christians, quote unquote, but those are very self-righteous people.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is the religion, and anytime I go to church, it's the same fucking shit every time. Oh, don't be gay, don't have sex. It's just always a don't. I'm like, why am I coming
Never
here to be
do.
judged? Never like, oh, do this. Like, why is it always like I'm coming here to be judged every time I'm here? And it's always like I said, when I was going to church every time, it was
Yeah.
like
constant fear.
constant fear.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like, even the time I was having sex the first time, like, the anxiety I had.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to die after I have this. It's just sex, bro. Like, but they've told me in my head, like, this is something that's going
it's
to...
worrying.
If you... Like, I already told Chukudi before, like, if I'm looking at the babes, like, if I see her T on, like, she's posting, like, Bible passages, I can't run this.
You just
No way.
see.
Like, there's one time you're in uni, sorry, before I give it to you, pause. Like, the time...
I get that you guys might not have clocked if I was this.
So like there's this baby, I was yanning her. She was so bad, man. But she was like always preaching to me, like, come to church, come to church, come to church. But like again, like my principle is if you are a Bible person, like if you're a religious person, I can't. But she was too bad, man. So I said, okay, let me just come to church this day. I just said, let me just go. She now carried me to the church. I was not in the church, I was at the back. She was with me, everything. They just said, oh, sister so-and-so, come to the front.
Sister.
My sister. What are you calling you, bro?
Oh, is a sister in the church?
My sister,
No.
please come to the church. Come to the front. Like, okay. They're like, okay, we're going to lay hands on sister so-and-so today. I was looking like, man, like everybody was so like gassed.
How
I'm
did
like,
not call you as well?
but imagine. Then he just put her hands on her. She frowned before she started shaking.
I hate charisma.
Bro, I'm like, where am I? Where did I come to? Bro? Like, where did this babe bring me to? And like
Honestly,
immediately
that's
church
a
ended, I ghosted. Like I couldn't even stay for like handshakes. Bro, I did. And I'm like, and it's just stuff like that, man. All my experiences have just been negative. Like,
Was that in England or in
England, yeah. Like it was crazy. So it was like
Interesting.
for me, that's really my take.
Okay, I'm getting hate the people them.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I think similar to what Chidi said, growing up there was always a lot of don'ts and never like do's. And until like, you know, when you have that relationship with God, Christianity doesn't just seem fun. It just doesn't seem fun. There's so many things you're not allowed to do. But then similar to what you said, when you have a relation, when you're in a relationship with somebody and like you really like that person, you're willing to drop some things just to make that thing work. And for me, growing up in church, there's a lot of judgment. And like, the thing about it is that that doesn't go away. Like, even if you leave, it doesn't go away. I remember there were instances that like, oh, you wear a dress or something, and be like, how can she wearing that dress? And her mom is a deaconess. And I'm just like, sorry, is this what we're here for? Like, are you actually joking? I remember for a long time, I was just there. I was just like, you know what? Let me not draw attention to myself. Let me just do what I need to do and just kind of like do this thing and go. So I hated the judgmental like aspect of it, and I always found it very interesting because the people that love to comment the most Can you check back at home? Can you actually check back at home? You are talking about my dress. Can you see what your daughter is wearing?
Let's actually have that conversation.
Let's actually be so for real.
Let's actually have that conversation.
Let's actually since we're having this conversation, let's actually go there. Like you're commenting on what I'm wearing. I was like your daughter when your daughter was in what's it called on Friday night. Did you observe her outfit before she left? Pick the log out of your eye before you pick the speck out of mine. People are so quick to judge and so quick to yarn about your life, and they don't even know anything. So I remember that, like something that really chased me out of church, the African church, was judgment. As in, every time you want to do things, you be looking over your shoulder to make sure you're not seeing so that you're not sister. So not come and call you my daughter.
Come, let me have a private chat.
Let me talk to you.
Come on now,
please.
Like that even reminds me. I remember I was in secondary school and it was my birthday. I can never forget. It was my birthday. So in my school, prefects are the ones that carry the tithe basket to the front of the church for them to pray on it. So A-level uniform is different from normal school uniform. We wear trouser, you wear your white shirt, and that's the uniform. So I remember it was my birthday, October 2nd. It was a Sunday. I can never forget. I turned 17. And they said, okay, Kenke, it's your turn to come and carry the basket to the front. So I carried the basket to the front and I dropped it. After seeing me thinking, oh, wow, God, thank you so much. I've really done this nice spiritual thing. After church, one of the administrators came up to me. She now said, imagine. I said, imagine what?
Crazy.
She said, imagine. Wow. She said, the first time you are called to bring the offering basket, you forgot to wear socks.
Sorry?
Guys.
I thought it was the church that you were going to talk about. Guys, socks?
She said, I did not look appropriate to bring the tithe basket. Guys, I was thinking to myself.
I can't lie, she had a foot fetish.
I was just thinking to myself, I said, Mama, who did look my leg?
Did you get
apparently.
No, apparently she looked at my freaking leg. I was thinking to myself, like, I've brought the basket now. I'm doing this nice thing. Wow, it's my turn as a prefect. And I remember that, I think specifically, I must have only carried the basket, because prefects are meant to do it on rotation. And how many prefects would there possibly be? How many Sundays are there in a school year? I think that after that, I must have only carried the basket to the front, maybe like once after that. I was thinking to myself, because I didn't wear socks, or because I didn't wear socks that were visible. Mama, come on now. Be for real. But that's just part of judgment and clothing.
Yeah. Jesus wasn't wearing socks, but
he was wearing sandals.
It's like, I think actually as a girl, there's so much, there's so much. Did you guys, I don't know whether they did this in your own church, that they'll say that, I think there was this movie they played for us that about like virginity and purity. That's like a flower that once you have sex, it crumples. And
do you know?
I remember I carried that thing for years, and I'm just like, it crumples.
Yeah.
But then, like, when you actually meet Jesus, man, like,
it's a whole different story. Just know the truth.
When you actually meet Jesus, man, like, it doesn't even, like, you see that crumpled flower, like, they make it seem as if, like, you have lost everything. There's nothing more you can get from it. But Jesus has the ability to make that flower brand new again. And I'm just like, why are you laughing? It's not even just the flower. Just like, because like they almost like they simplify your life, your value, everything to that flower.
Virginity. You're only as valuable as your virginity.
But do you know what's so crazy, right? Because that's why I feel like religion is the issue, not Christianity. And the reason
that's exactly what I'm saying.
The reason why I say that is like, bro, Jesus was literally guys with Mary Magdalene.
In fact, let's even forget Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene is even when we're talking about Jesus. Let's go back. Let's go back into the scriptures. Let's really call a spade a spade. A lot of the people that were used in the Bible for God's doing were people who did some messed up things.
Problematic.
Moses was
Saul and them and they're like.
Moses was a murderer. And Moses was the one that led them to the land. He was the one that
David stole somebody's wife. Like Hola stole somebody. What the guy killed? If you actually deep it,
if you actually despiritualize the scriptures and you look at the scriptures for what they just are, let's be real.
David murdered a nigga.
He was like, I want your wife.
Solomon was
they killed
so
him.
wise.
Now, but to be fair,
Come on now.
But to be fair to David though, he told that nigga to go meet his wife and he refused to. So the guy said, "Let me sleep outside your bedroom."
He himself.
After sleeping with him.
Guy, he gave him an out.
After sleeping with him.
But the thing is that the moral of the story is that there's nobody in the Bible that is inherently so perfect except for the man Jesus and except for the God himself. Even Paul, when he was Saul,
What a guy.
he was killing the niggas. Let's be real.
Yes.
He was actually killing them.
So was crazy. That rebranding, yeah. I can't lie.
No, if you actually
don't
look
have to
at
change
it,
his name.
you don't have to change his
Yeah,
whole name. Maybe they say that Saul is coming to a city. The Christians will be scared. And they will run and hide.
They will not come
They actually have to
out.
change his name to Paul. Like, I feel like when people, the problem with Christians, some Christians, not all of you, because some of you I love you guys. The problem with some Christians is that they assume the perfection of Jesus Christ when they become Christians. And the problem that I have with that is that you're on the journey to that perfection. But the problem is that I don't want to say that you will never get there.
You won't.
But you really won't.
Even
You
Jesus
won't.
said the most holy man sins 7 times a day.
You won't.
And the reason, do you know, there's a ideology I used to use, which was that Mary is a surrogate. As per Mary, the mother of Jesus, she's a surrogate. Because the Holy Spirit came over her and put the baby in her belly. But it wasn't.
You don't know this story.
I don't know, you look as if they didn't teach you this one in Sunday school. But come on now.
No, but like, you definitely know that convo with Joseph after was wild.
No, of course.
Guy, I can just
I'm so
imagine.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Imagine being first run that Lambo on you.
Shasha, you know now, just like, wow. Come on now. But like, just imagine. That, to me, that tells me that when they said, okay, the Spirit came over her and she was with child, that tells me that the natural process to which babies are born was not involved in the Jesus making process. As per the sin nature that would have come from either Joseph or Mary was not involved in his conception. She was a vessel to which she was born into the earth. Do you understand?
That's a way to look at it.
No,
actually a
I
way to
actually
look at
sat and I thought about it. I said, the reason why Jesus is perfect is because the thing that would have made him imperfect was not involved at all. He literally came down from heaven and they used a vessel to bring him to the world so that he is born naturally. He's born human. He can relate to our human experiences. But for the fact that he's part of the Godhead, for the fact that he's part of God himself, makes him perfect to the point where the things that we will fall victim to,
He can't.
he can't fall victim to. It is the reason why we believe him. We believe him to be part of the Godhead because he didn't do the things that we would have done. Do you understand? Making him believable. That's another thing that I have with the whole Christianity thing, which is that a lot of the time Jesus isn't preached. A lot of the time they are preaching to you, do this, don't do that, go to hell, go to heaven. Not necessarily that there's a man named Jesus, he came to die for your sins, you are born into the sonship of Christ, you will go to heaven for believing
In him.
in him. I believe that good news gospel isn't passed across as much as the judgment is. And as much as they're telling you, oh, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. Take, for example, virginity, right? Just take, for example, that she said that they played a video for her and they said, wow, the flower was crumpled, it was crushed, it was ruined. Do you know what it means to ruin a flower? To ruin a flower means that flower can never be regenerated again in their life. It means that it's gone.
It has lost every sense of
every
value
sense of
in
worth,
like every
in
sense of
itself.
worth.
Do you know what it means to equate not just girls to their virginity, but equate a girl's life to that you have slept with somebody now, your whole is gone. In fact, forget about it. And then they tell you, and then you go to another church and then they tell you, no, it's not that bad. But even when they're saying it's not that bad, you're still getting a sense in yourself that, oh my God, I really did this horrible thing. I've gotten to a place where it's not just, okay, you've done this, oh my God, you've done this bad thing, you're not valuable. I was even watching this sermon by Pastor Mike Todd, and he was saying the value is still in you. Like, because God created you, you are still valuable. Because the scripture says, okay, you are made in God's image, right? You are still a person of value for the sole purpose that you are born, like made in his own image, even though we're all different looking. You know, that's what the Cheetah Girl song. We all have that element. Do you understand? Or okay, let me say, according to my belief system, according to Christianity, we all have that element. We all have that God mirroring element. So imagine now telling a babe, oh my God, in fact, ruined. Yeah,
You lose that element by having sex. Sex is just an example in this
It's just
context,
an example, yeah. But like, imagine that, and imagine having to go through your life thinking that the moment you do this one thing, you're no longer valuable. And I feel like it ruins even your relationship with other people, because you're now going to relationships knowing or having this sense of knowledge that, oh, I'm not even as worth it. So, and a lot of people, even me inclusive, have suffered that kind of thing, feeling like because of something that you have done, you're no longer valuable or you're no longer of value. So because of that, you just settle for whatever is there.
I think for me, like, just to answer your initial question, like, what do I dislike about some Christians? I think one thing I dislike, like, general, it's probably like my number one pet peeve is hypocrisy. Like, it's a very...
I hear this a lot.
It seems like a very hypocritical system. Like, okay, I think, for example, now let me use Nigeria. Oh, you know, don't have premarital sex. Don't, you know, disobey your parents, blah, 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 blah. But you're stealing. People are using their last naira to pay tithe. And you're using it towards your private jet. You're stealing.
Why do you now call that guy out like that?
We know them now. They know themselves.
Nah, they know themselves. But like, you're doing that, and like, how do I put it? From what I understand about, like, at least Jesus, right? Because I look at the Bible as two books. The Old Testament, which personally I think is the more interesting book in terms of like what happens. Stories. But then the New Testament, which is what I guess God intended for us to have, which is all that stuff from the past, kind of like free it. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself, you're good, cool. And like literally the whole story of Jesus, and even after Jesus, is literally just going around and giving. But like, it just seems like now it's about taking, like, pay your tithe, you know. And what's the word? I think what I also dislike about like some Christians is it happens within the Christian community, and then it happens like Christians versus others, which is the feeling of being better than. So like, you have a Catholic, an Anglican, a Pentecostal. I am better than you for XYZ reason. Like, everyone feels like they are better than cause of whatever. And literally, like, you spoke about the conception of Jesus. God could have decided like Jesus was going to be born to any household. He literally gave him to a carpenter. Like, that just to show you the humility that comes into it. But there's always a sense of pride and, you know, being better than, like, Christianity, I feel like, is meant to be something, like you said, that you maintain yourself, like, in terms of your relationship and how you move forward. But it's like everybody is sin watching, like, oh, guy, I saw you do this yesterday. I saw you, but nobody really has the presence of mind to, like, examine themselves. So I think that's what I dislike.
Do you know, that's so funny.
Can I say something? And I appreciate where everyone comes from in terms of, you know, what they're saying and, like, you know, what they don't like. And it's very, very valid. But I think one thing that really one thing that, like, just came to me right now is the fact that, like, I think we should all remember that, you know, you see, God, Keke made a point. Jesus was made with that element that makes us imperfect. So we as individuals, you see, we're all imperfect. And, like, obviously, I think I had to come to this understanding to be able to kind of, like, you know, put aside the church hurt and kind of accept Jesus and, like, you know, move forward with him. That these people, when they did it, genuinely, I just take it that, like, genuinely that's all they know, and they did it from a place of that is all they know, not justifying anything that was done or said to anybody in the slightest. But the truth is that fear mongering sometimes is is what they believe is the best way to deter a child from doing something, or like to deter somebody from doing something. Fear mongering. Or if I tell this child that he's going to go to hellfire or do this or do that, he won't die or steal or do anything. Or if I tell this girl that she wears a short skirt, or like if she sleeps with a man, that she can't enter heaven, and she won't do it. Frank, it definitely the wrong way to go about it. But like, I think one thing I had to learn, and like it took me a while to learn it, was the fact that like they're doing it from like with an intention to make you better. Lost, like the intention was the intention was there, but like the what's it called, the translation, it was lost in translation, but that was also there. So I think people are imperfect. Christians are imperfect. We are all, we've all pointed out, we're all striving. It's a journey. We're all striving towards perfection like Jesus. But the truth is that we can't attain it because of that element of like, imperfection. And that's what manifests in things like, stealing and like hypocrisy and like, like just hate, just everything that we have spoken about here. It is as a result of that element of sin and that element of imperfection in us as Christians that make us come off as the way we are. So as much as, definitely everybody has the right and like, it can feel the way they feel. The truth is that like at the end of the day, these people that are doing these things to you, they don't know any better. Because I genuinely am of the opinion that if they did and you genuinely had the love of Christ in you, you wouldn't want somebody to live in fear. You wouldn't want somebody you want someone to feel caged and to feel anxious when they think about Jesus, or when they think about, living life as a Christian. You want someone to think that, if I step out just slightly, thunder can strike me and I will just die. No, like, if you really have the love of Christ in you, I don't believe you will be preaching that I can't even call it gospel, but that message. You will be preaching a message of, the truth is, as Christian, as people, like, we do make mistakes, but the fact that, you are striving towards something, you make mistakes, you get up. Even cry, like you make mistakes, you get up and you just keep striving for that thing. We are imperfect and we're never going to be perfect. And you see these things we've spoken about, unfortunately, they might never go away. I think the best thing for us, just focus on God. Focus on God.
I hear you. Just to add to what you said though, like you said, some of these things are never going to go away. Hypocrisy is something that's been present right from time. Like, Jesus' greeting to the Pharisees was literally, "You hypocrites." Like,
Period.
I used to roll up to the block and say, "You hypocrites." I get that. But I think where a lot of people have gone astray is, and I guess where they have failed, quote unquote, in their Christianity is, a lot of people live, I guess, a virtuous life, but it's because of the fear of hell as opposed to the love of God.
Yes, sir.
You said something.
I was gonna, this thing that you just said.
Thank you for that statement.
I'm a challenger right now.
One thing about
challenge
Kenke
it, but
is
like-
that Kenke will challenge Chukwudi's question.
I will.
I didn't even ask a question.
I'll
I
be
just made a
Chukwudi's
statement.
comments.
Well, can I add to this?
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
can.
I have a theory that heaven and hell is just a way to control society, because I feel like there is no way, because human beings are very like unpredictable, and I feel like a couple of people just sat down and they were like, let's just make this thing up so guys can be in line. Because like I said, like for my whole childhood, it was like, if you do this, you're going to hell. And I was so scared. And I know this happened to so many children.
Yeah.
And they grew up with that fear. Till today, like older niggas, like 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, they still live that kind of life based on, I don't want to go to hell. Because imagine a world where there was no heaven or hell. Just imagine that in like theory. I can imagine things that are happening right now. Like, and we live in that world where there's heaven and hell and things are still happening like this. So I just feel like it was created so that niggas can just fall in line. And that's just my theory. And I feel like I've rounded that theory for like a while now. I feel like I've been better since I've seen things like that. So that's my theory.
Can Kes say what you have to say quickly, because we have to wrap up.
I'm gonna speed up. So I was gonna say to that that I was reading a book. It's called The Prodigal God. It's a book by Timothy Keller, which was a way to kind of like re-understand the story of the prodigal son.
Okay.
And he was focused more on like, okay, the two different sons and, you know, how the first son went astray and then did whatever and then still came back and the father received him with so much grace and everything. He was not talking about the elder son, which I feel like is the problem that a lot of younger people have with the older generation in the church today, which is that the older son was doing everything
right.
supposedly right, and the father never did that kind of elaborate thing, which goes to show you the heart behind doing those things. Because if you're the elder son and you're doing things rightly, if your brother comes back, you're just meant to rejoice. Oh my God, my brother is back into my father's love. But instead, he was like, excuse me, why haven't you guys done this thing for me? There are a lot of people in the church as well who tick all these boxes because they believe that there's an end goal to the boxes that are being ticked. Do you understand? The thing is, at the end of the day, it's all about knowledge. The Bible says that people perish for lack of knowledge. I actually do believe that there's some information that is like missing sometimes in church where people don't have the full idea per se. They just have, like you said, these do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they feel like, okay, they satisfy that criteria. And because they satisfy that criteria, then all should be well. All should be blessed with them. And because it is not, they have so many questions. But the same Bible also says that God causes the rain to fall on both the good and the bad. Ecclesiastes or Ephesians talks about how, like, good days and bad days will happen to everyone, irrespective of whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, because that's just life, and that's just the way life is going to be. As long as the devil was on this earth, and as long as they fell, as long as Adam and Eve ate the apple. And even to your comments about there not being heaven or hell, or it being used as a medium to kind of control people, which is what I said earlier when Karl Marx said that religion is the opium of the masses, to keep people in line, to keep people in check, to keep people hoping when things are going bad. Because Nigeria, for example, is a really, really serious situation, and a lot of people are using Christianity to kind of like just curtail how bad things are. To curtail how bad things are. But at the end of the day, one thing that a lot of Christians don't know is that we don't serve a God that wants us to go to hellfire. Hell was not created for human beings. It was created for the devil and his cohorts to go and stay there. So it wasn't even necessarily created so that, okay, God can say, you have done something bad, now go there. It's because, in fact, I don't even have time to even really get into that. But what are the prerequisites for entering heaven? At least the Christian heaven, because like my own belief of what heaven is, because that's another thing about other religions heavens, and whether Christian is the right one. That one is a whole different conversation. But even that one about, okay, coming to heaven, the prerequisite is, I believe in Jesus.
Finish.
I believe in Jesus. Now, what that belief in Jesus does for you during the course of your life, that is left to you and Jesus. Because everybody who says that they believe in Jesus, who believes in Jesus truly, their life cannot remain the same if you say you believe in Jesus truly and you want to follow Jesus. I know who I was when I was 13. I was very angry. I was perpetually angry. Any small thing could get me riled up. I was always angry. And when I turned 16 and I started believing in Jesus, I was a lot less angry. I don't even know what was angry me all those years of my life.
Because I was angry.
I don't know what was angry me. I was just always angry. But when I got into that relationship, I realized I was a lot less angry. I don't know how that happened, but I know that it happened as a result of the relationship that I now then came into. So if you truly believe in Jesus, there's a way that I believe that even if your physical circumstances seemingly stay the same, your outlook on them is completely changed. It's completely different. Do you understand? Which is not something that you, anybody can necessarily explain to the next person. Do you understand what I mean? But that's what I had to quickly say as I rushed.
All right. That was very insightful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the pod.
Oh my God, thank you for having us.
It was a very engaging conversation.
Yeah.
Until next time, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Believing Baddies signing out.